Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Business. As part of activities, as part of its commitment to deepen local content participation, oil exploration firm Tullow Ghana has awarded contracts worth $240 million to indigenous companies representing about 31% of its local total spending. According to the firm, this is part of efforts to empower Ghanaian professionals to contribute to the socio-economic development of the country. Executive Vice President of Tullow Oil PLC, Kwikwa Otwi, spoke with Joy Business at a local content recognition dinner where Tullow rewarded 30 local suppliers for their dedication to local content development in the country.
Ghana has been mining for 100 years, and if you go to cities like Obuasi and Takwa, you wonder what happened to the money. So if we don't develop local content in Ghana in a meaningful way, our cities will become like Obuasi and Takwa. And we don't want that to happen again after another 100 years. So local content is very important because for the money to stay in the country, we need to build capacity. We need to train people. We need to train people to be the welders. We need people to be trained to be the managers. And we need people to form the companies to supply the products, the goods and services to supply the industry. So local content is critical to Tullow and the Jubilee Partners' success.
So percentage-wise, how far are you willing to go in terms of transitioning local content to transitioning contracts to local participants?
Okay. There are two things we're doing now as part of our contracting and tendering. No company can be awarded a Tullow contract if they don't have a local partner. That also attempts to encourage local content participation. And what further we are doing as Tullow and the partners is we are saying that we must now be even more specific, find sectors of the economy where there's opportunity for locals. This year we are looking at the vessel sector, and in the next 5 to 10 years our goal is that that sector will be majority dominated by local content companies providing those goods and services.
The Finance Minister, during the presentation of the 2020 budget statement, disclosed that government had secured $250 million from the World Bank as part of resources to operationalize a national development bank. Government says this is a key step in dealing with lending to productive sectors of the economy. But what do players in the productive sector also believe? CEO of the Association of Ghana Industries, Seth Chuma Kwaba, spoke on the business edition of PM Express on JoyNews last night.
And the areas he's mentioned are very important. He's talking about NIB, for example, being supported, ADB. These are critical financial institutions for development. NIB for industrial development, ADB for agricultural development. The entire chain must work. And then they are coming up with a development bank. And indeed, the essence of having a development bank is to be able to give a different kind of funding, not the typical commercial lending, which is short-term in nature, very short moratorium, with very high interest rates and all that. So if you're able to have effective development bank, it means that it's going to intervene in the area of long-term funding. And if you want to do one district, one factory, it is so critical that you have a kind of financing arrangement that supports it. Bear in mind that if you take the one district, one factory, for example, most of them are startups, because the industries are not already existing in the district. That's why we say one district, one factory. So they are basically new industries that are going to be set up. Meanwhile, when you go to the normal commercial banks, they are going to be asking for, your 3-year or so,
3 to 5 years,
3 to 5 years financial records and all that. And you don't have that. And therefore, you need a kind of financing mechanism that is project-oriented, that is able to take a bit of risk, and look more into the future instead of the past. So, and you need a development bank to do that. So doing so will help a great deal.
We'll bring you more business stories shortly on the marketplace. Bye.